I'm going to say this up front, that I truly think that polar plunges and cold showers are crapola. I do. And I'm not going to do them. Just not going to do them. This was something that I decided that I wanted to research, because you see all these entrepreneur videos where everybody gets up at 3 a.m., gets on the treadmill, does a polar plunge, all that sort of stuff. No. My story is that I have known about whole foods plant-based living for years, far more years than I'd like to admit. But I got along with my coach from Unsupersize Me. Well, one of the things that he wanted me to do that was different this time was that he wanted a cold shower every morning. This has been the hardest part for me. And he's like, it'll prove that you can do hard things. And I'm like, I thought medical school was that, Carly. I remembered reading this book called Dopamine Nation, and I will link that book below. But in Dopamine Nation, they really talk a lot about how cold plunges and cold showers, or polar plunges and cold showers, actually kind of disrupt your nervous system to a point where it really helps with those addictions that we have, like drugs and alcohol, even the internet and social media, that just flood your dopamine receptors. And we are so overstimulated in our dopamine receptors that it really is a good shock for the body. So when I started looking at this, my thought was, does it help with weight loss? So I kind of went into it from that perspective. Now, one thing we have to kind of talk about beforehand, and this actually took me back to medical school, was the difference between white and brown fat. You have two types of fat on your body, and they have two different functions. Function of white fat, which is the majority of what we have, is it stores energy as triglycerides. The function of brown fat is it burns energy to produce heat. Your white fat is found throughout the body, including under the skin, around the organs, and in the buttocks. Whereas your brown fat is primarily found in newborns and infants, but also in adults in small amounts around the neck, shoulders, and kidneys. And I remember brown fat being a real big issue when I was doing like my pediatric rotations. You really had to make sure you kept infants warm, because if not, it would just increase their metabolism so much that it became dangerous during anesthesia. What is the appearance difference? Large single lipid droplets in the white fat, whereas your brown fat, smaller multiple lipid droplets and more vascular, which gives it the brown color. Cellular composition. White fat predominantly composed of fat cells. Brown fat contains a high number of mitochondria, which are your energy-producing powerhouses in the cell, which are organelles responsible for energy production, the role in metabolism. So your white fat stores energy, and that is its key function, is to store energy for periods of starvation. Whereas brown fat regulates body temperature by burning calories to generate heat, especially in infants and newborns. Health implications. White fat causes disease. So excess accumulation of white fat can lead to obesity and obesity-related health problems like your cardiac disease, your diabetes, your high blood pressure, your strokes, your cancers. Brown fat considered beneficial for metabolic health as it burns calories and reduces the risk of obesity. With that taken care of, let's go back to the real question in all of this is polar plunges and or cold showers, are they beneficial for weight loss? Pros are gonna be, it activates the brown fat. So it's gonna increase your metabolism, burn more calories. So that is a pro for weight loss. It will give you modest fat loss, but if you do that in addition to, I am gonna say, a whole foods plant-based diet, because I think it is the healthiest diet out there, and exercise, it will increase the weight loss that you have. And you have improved blood sugar regulation. Really good for your diabetics out there. So cons, they say it has a fairly limited impact. I can't say that they're wrong on that. It is a small calorie burn, but if it increases your metabolism, it should increase your calorie burn throughout the day. Sudden cold is a cardiovascular risk if you have moderate to significant cardiac disease, hypothermia. If you're in there for a long time, yes, but right now we started at 15 seconds and I'm up to 30 right now. 30 seconds, not minutes, seconds. Other health risks: hyperventilation, muscle cramps, vasovagal response, which is your heart rate slows down and it makes you feel faint, or you faint, because it also decreases your blood pressure. So if you're gonna do it, start slow, like Carly's had me start. And I swear it is the hardest thing that I do every day. But I have worked it into my routine. And it used to be that I got up, got coffee, fed my dog, drank said coffee, and went out for a walk. Now I am, before I even get dressed, I started doing it after I worked out, and then I realized it just wasn't working there in the routine. So now it is coffee, feed Mulligan, drink coffee, take the cold shower, get clothes on, take Mulligan for a walk, come in, and then he also wants cardio in the morning. So I go directly and do my cardio. And with that routine, I'm just not thinking. It's just a smooth flow. Really works well for me. Start slow, limit duration, consult a doctor. I did not consult a doctor, but I figured that 15 seconds in a cold shower was probably not going to kill me, because I knew what my health risks were, combined with lifestyle changes, obviously, whole foods, plant-based diet for me, and exercise. That's where we are. I was skeptical at first, but luckily I had read the book beforehand, that Dopamine Nation. And so it had a little bit of an insight to it. And he's like, there is scientific proof in this. And I'm like, okay, we'll do it. So am I taking a cold shower? Yes, every single day. Do I hate it? The first 5 seconds are a bitch. I'm going to tell you that. They are a bitch. But after the 5-second period, I will say it is not as bad. I'm not going to say it's pleasant, because to me, it's not pleasant. I feel good afterwards, but it's not pleasant while I'm doing it. But sometimes you have to go through a little rough to have a benefit on the other side. Anyway, what are your feelings on cold showers and/or polar plunges? Let me know in the comments, sincerely. Hopefully you got some value for this. If you did, smash that like button. Come along for the ride and subscribe. I'm going to be here for 70 pounds. More to go. I will see you guys. Bye.